I hope you're having an amazing day. We are going to talk about today triggers, specifically something that came up in a client session around therapy specifically. And we're also going to talk about something that came up today, which was what to do when you feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Hey, that it can't possibly be this good. And if it is good, like, when is the other shoe gonna drop? So that's what we're gonna talk about today. I'm gonna give everybody just a moment to hop on. Hey, Colin, can you not do that so you don't get hurt? I've got Colin in here too. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh, he doesn't want to. You want to say hi in front of the camera?
Hi.
He's waiting for brother to be done in the shower. So we're going to give Instagram just a moment to hop on, get everybody hopped on. But if you're here, make sure you say hi. If you're watching the replay, do hashtag replay. And as you are watching, make sure that you, Dana says hi, Colin.
Hi.
Make sure that you are interacting. Give me a heck yes. Give me an oh my god I relate. Give me some hearts. Like, interact with me because I love to interact. I love to talk. I'm a Gemini. That's just how we roll. If you are new here, my name is Kristen Jones and I am a spiritual life coach and quantum Reiki healer. I'm actually going to put my phone on silent. And yeah, that's me. Hi. I'm actually going to pull up my notes from earlier today because it was so good. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about triggers for a second. Triggers are interesting. And I know that, like, as a woman, it is so common for us to be triggered more during our PMS week. Our hormones rise and fall, and it's completely normal. I'm not an expert in this. I do recommend if you're wanting like to have less period pain, to have less PMS symptoms, it is possible. I recommend following Barryon L. Berry. If you need her handle, just shoot me a message. She's amazing. With her help and some of the tips, I haven't even like purchased any of her things yet. But just by following her and following some of her tips, I have been able to alleviate a lot of the hormonal rises and falls during PMS week as well as period week. My last period, I had hardly, like, I was tired, and that's pretty normal for me, but I didn't cramp hardly at all. And that's amazing because I used to be down and out. And so, you know, just by following her tips, that helps. But back to triggers. So PMS week, I mean, totally normal. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm losing my shit, I'm feeling totally crazy during your PMS week, that's like, it's normal. But also it's an opportunity for us to look at what is coming up because we're having this light shining on something that is asking to surface for us. So we have this opportunity to heal. And when you step into awareness of the things that you are triggered about, you may start to notice that the things that you are triggered about are often very similar in nature. Maybe it's the same situation, or maybe it is not the same situation, but it's around similar things. And so when we step into awareness and we are noticing when we are triggered, it gives us an opportunity to be like, isn't that interesting? So I'll share with you my process, and I'm going to share with you what happened actually during a client session that I got triggered. And she was just like, oh, like, Kristen's having a moment, and it's totally fine. Like, everything's fine. Like, I'm just here having a human experience too. And so I'll kind of explain to you what happened there. So when we are triggered about something, here is the process that I walk myself through. This is the same process that I walk my clients through too. First, we want to be the gentle observer. When we notice that we're triggered about something, stop, take a deep breath, and just observe. You don't even have to do anything with the information right now, but just observe. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I'm really fucking pissed off right now. And just take a moment to breathe. So what I really like to do is in the beginning, when I started to really step into awareness of the things that were surfacing for me, I would write them down. If I didn't have a moment to stop and journal at that time, I would write down some of the things that are triggering me. I would either pull it up in my notes section on my phone, or I love the app called Evernote. I use it pretty much every single day. It is my go-to for, business and personal. So sticky notes, a notes app on your phone or anything, and just write down what it was that was triggering you. And then, so we're being the gentle observer. So sometimes when we start our healing journey, what can happen is we start to notice these triggers. We go through this process of learning what our triggers are and asking ourselves some questions, rather, if I could speak. And then, we think that we get to the root to it, and then bam, it happens again. And we're like, well, what in the world? I thought I already processed through this thing. And the truth is that we are limitless beings. We live in an unlimited, oh my God. We live in a limitless world. We are unlimited. We have multiple layers. Oh my God, why can't I talk? And so, what does this mean? This means there is always an opportunity. There is always a layer that can be removed. So it doesn't necessarily mean that what you're doing isn't working. It just simply means it's an opportunity to peel back another layer. And here's what I also know to be true. As we begin to peel back layers, the more that we do it, I'm not saying that certain things won't hurt, because they absolutely can. They absolutely can. We're going through something really big personally as a family that I haven't even shared publicly and probably won't. And it can totally rock your world. But then there are other things that you're like, okay, this made me mad, but I've actually been through it. And it doesn't take as much time to shift, to pivot, to feel better. And you'll just get better at it. You'll just get quicker at it. You just won't sit in the mud for certain things so as long as you did in the past. And that's amazing. Feeling good is the goal. Okay, so Dana, I'm sorry. It is, and sometimes we just have those days where it's just like, forget it. I'm just gonna go do something else. I know this morning, there is this new song by A Day to Remember called Everything We Need. And there's this specific part at the end that says, I just need some 4-wheel isolation because Lord knows I cannot afford that vacation, which I don't believe that's true. I can afford anything I want. I am manifesting some cool stuff, but you're picking up. Yeah, that's possible. I was actually having a hard time talking to Matt earlier today, and I'm like, I don't know. My tongue is just tired. So I just need some 4-wheel isolation because Lord knows I cannot afford that vacation. You can't see the skylight from the basement. You always remind me. And so I heard that as soon as that song came on today, I just busted into tears. I was in the gym and I was like, oh God. And I just got in my Jeep and I just drove around base for a little bit because I had some things I needed to do at home. So I just drove around for a little bit, just the sunshine, the fresh air, even though it's cold, and just getting in there just was so good. So the next thing that you do when you are feeling triggered is you can, you're stepping into awareness, you're being the gentle observer, and when you sit down to journal, ask yourself, write down all of the things that happened during the trigger. What what happened when you were triggered, like what was going on before then, what thoughts you were having, and what led to you being triggered. Because sometimes that can just like click something into place and be like, oh, that's actually why I was mad. Because sometimes it feels like a surface layer, but we can pull back a layer and be like, oh, actually this thing made me mad. And then we're going to, so I blurt this out, like I just write it all out on my journal, like I'm talking to a best friend. And then what I do after that is I ask myself, well, where is this coming from? And I stop and I think about a time in my life that something happened that also triggered me. And so where is this coming from? Why was I feeling this way? And what is my truth? So what oftentimes happens is when we are triggered, it's giving us, like I said, it's giving us an opportunity to go within, and we can look at it and be like, well, where in my life have I also felt like this? Why was I feeling like that? Like, what was it that what did that version of me really need? And one, how can I give that to myself? And what is my truth right now? And so we can give ourselves that thing that we need. We can be that thing we need, or we can communicate to those around us that we need that thing. And also that truth, what is my truth? That now becomes your affirmation. So you can step into that feeling of what it is like if we already believe that was our truth. So what do I mean by that? If when you're writing down your truth is, so just for example, maybe it was sometime in your life where, it made you feel unworthy. And so, or like you were not enough, like what you were doing just simply wasn't enough. And so what is my truth? The truth is I am worthy. The truth is I am enough. The truth is I don't have to do anything to prove my worth. I am worthy because I was born. I'm worthy because it was my birthright. Worthiness is something that I've worked on a lot. So how does it feel? How does it feel if I already believed, if I was already the version of me that believed that worthiness is my birthright, that I am worthy because I am worthy. I do not have to do anything to prove my worth. How does that feel if I were already the version of me that believed that it was true? And I hold that feeling. Our brain does not know the difference between past, present, and future. Our body, we can trick our brain by feeling the feelings as if it were already true, and our brain will just manifest it as its truth. So how do we know this to be true? Anxiety is a great example, as well as like things that we're stressed out about. So, for example, we're stressed or anxious about something that happened in the past, and we're thinking about how it could have went differently, or, we're worried, it's just causing us anxiousness, or about the future. Like we're worried about things that haven't even happened yet, or, the things that we need to get done, or, and it's creating that feeling in our body, that anxiousness in our body. It's creating that reaction in our body. It's like that chemical response is going on in our body because our brain has been thinking about something in the past, something in the future, and it's not right here, right now. So bring yourself back here, come to the present moment. I am safe. Feel the feelings as if it were already true for what it is that you desire, and hold that feeling. So one of my favorite things that I've been stepping into this year, and I am loving it so much. I feel like that little shift in that was like one of the couple missing pieces that I was like, oh, wow, what a difference. Okay. So let's talk about this specific situation. So I was talking to one of my one-on-one clients, and she said, we were talking about something that had happened in her past, and she also does therapy. Several of my clients have actually done therapy, or they do life coaching in combination with therapy, so coaching and therapy simultaneously, and it's really interesting and really cool to see how, how what they've learned applies now, or, just different experiences. And I personally have had really great experience with therapy. I've gone by myself. My husband and I have gone a couple different times. My oldest son goes to different forms of therapy, and so we're big believers in therapy here. One of the things that one of my clients said to me was, I keep looking at my notes, is when it came to a situation that we were talking about, she said, well, my therapist had told me in the past to put the situation in a box, put it on the shelf, and I don't even have to do anything with it. And I immediately was like, I could feel it in my body. I was just like, wait a second. I'm such an expressive person, so I try not to as much when something pisses me off. I was just like, wait a second. What'd she tell you? I was like, okay, this really triggers me. Thank you so much for sharing this with me, because this is giving me an opportunity to peel back something that is obviously being shined on for a reason. So I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. Like, you're teaching me something, and this is amazing. Like, what a full circle moment, right? But the reason why I was triggered was because she was still experiencing anxiety around these certain situations or situation, and she was being told to just box it up and put it away. And I'm like, well, how is that serving you if you're putting something in a box and you're just putting it on the shelf and you're not choosing to look at it? However, it's still affecting you in almost your day-to-day life. Like, how is that serving you? And so I really had to dive deep to figure out, like, why this made me so upset. And then I was like, so we're not going to open the entire box, but what I would love for you to do, with your permission, is I would love for us to peek into the box, and I would love for us to just pull out like 1 or 2 max of this situation that happened, so we can really work on this, and also so we can help you heal this. Because if you're still feeling anxious about it, it's worth it to look at something, a piece of it. So here's what I said. I said, this triggered me. Why? Because it's still causing the anxiety with it. This is straight from my diary, y'all. Because it's still causing her anxiety. And then with pulling out the memory to get curious. And then I said, why? Because why else is it triggering me? Because I felt like it was the therapist's job to help her feel better, and she wasn't feeling better. And so I just have like this core belief that we get to feel good, that the goal is to feel good. And when we're holding on to something, and there are some things, there are traumas and there are big situations that sometimes we just can't open the entire box. Sometimes we just need to look at one little piece at a time. And sometimes it does take a little bit of time or a long time to dissect them, to feel into them, to love on them, to love on yourself, to ask yourself questions, to get curious, to be that gentle observer, and practice some self-care, because some things go deep and sometimes we just need that extra self-care, right? And so I'm just like, oh, I just want to help. And I felt like that was what she was here to do. And I was just like, oh, but she's not feeling better. And so that just like, oh, that was like to my core. That was like the biggest thing. And so here's what I said. What can I do about it? What can I do about it? Because it wasn't something that I knew was going to affect my day-to-day life, but was it? Because this was not one of my ear is ringing. I feel like I'm onto something. So, but was it? Because for me, as my core belief in this desire to help women feel better, to help women release the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm, to feel the joy, the ease, the peace, that inner peace that they desire. So what can I do about it? I can be a voice. So here's what I wrote. I can be a voice, an advocate for those who have been told to put the box away what they're thinking and feeling. I can educate and inform through video, through posts, through emails, through blogs. And I can do my own inner work and healing to show them what's possible, so I can lead by example. So I learned something from one of my recent triggers. And you guys, I'm just here having a human experience too. Like, I am not immune to any of this. Sometimes I wish I was, but it's always going to be a growth journey, and that is amazing. It just gets a little bit easier with certain situations. You get a little bit better. You have more tools in your toolbox. You tend to be energetically connected with those that are on a similar journey, and you can learn and grow from other people in that circle. And social media is so amazing for that. So that was something that happened. So let's move on to, if you guys have any triggers or anything that are coming up for you and you're just like, girlfriend, help me out, just drop them below and I can coach you through them while we're live. Okay, so let's move to waiting for the other shoe to drop. This was really incredible conversation that came up today that it was actually like a really intriguing, like soulful conversation that I really, really just loved and I wanted to share with you. So have you ever felt, and you can comment below yes or no, have you ever felt like things are just so good, things are going so great, when is crap gonna hit the fan? Or it's kind of like things just can't possibly be this good. I'm kind of just like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, if things are going good, something bad has to happen. Have you ever felt like that? So I can totally relate with this because I have been there myself. Yes, girl. Yeah. Okay, so Dana, I'm curious. So when she says, just for purpose of the recording, she says yes, and then I realize my thoughts and I'm like, no, stop. Perfect. Is this like something recently you've started doing? Because I know you've been on a healing journey too. Or is this something that you've always been, like you've always done? Is like, Or another thought I would give myself, but what if it goes right? Yes. Yeah, you're onto something. That is exactly where I'm going to lead to. The lighting in here is super weird. It's like really weird yellow and like makes me look like I have like dark stuff under my eyes. It's so funny. So, anyway, so yeah. Okay, so she says, more so recently, but I've been doing it a while ago with The Secret. The Secret is amazing. Like, that book was like, I feel like was the opening, like it opened doors. I actually read that book in 2009 and then I bought the DVD. I don't ever watch DVDs anymore. Everything we watch is digital. And now it's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's still on there, but last I knew it was on Netflix. That book and movie were like completely life-changing. It's like mind-blowing how everything just plays into itself. How when you look back, it's like everything is like a stepping stone to where you are now. It's wild. So, when we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, so here's what I want you to think about is, when in your life have you have you felt like things were going good and then it just wasn't? So I want you to think about that if you're feeling that. So what I do is I stop and I notice, and we're not beating ourselves up. We're becoming that gentle observer, and we're observing what's coming up for us. Oh, isn't it interesting that I'm thinking that things are going to go bad now? Why am I feeling like this? Where did it come from? Or when in my life did I also feel like things went well and then all of a sudden, like, they didn't? Sometimes it's a pattern that shows up in our lives that we don't even know, and then it just becomes this subconscious belief that if things are going good, that they have to go bad, that it can't just be good. But we get to where it is, and then we are like, okay, what does that version of me need to know? So, for example, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head. So my husband and I have done a lot of like marriage healing. So let's just use this as an example. We'll just use my husband and I as an example. So my husband and I have actually done a lot of marriage, like together, like separate healing and also together healing. So, an example of this could be like things were rocky for a while. Like maybe things were rocky in your marriage for a while, and then they got to be good, and it's like, okay, but like the things feel really good, but like when is it gonna get bad again? And so if it's like that, if there's that pattern of back and forth, it can create that subconscious belief in our mind that, well, things actually cannot be this good all the time. And so what does that version of me need to know? Well, that version of me, if I could go back and I could tell her, it actually does get to be this good. It actually does not have to be hard. It actually gets to be loving and understanding and fun and playful and passionate and communicative and togetherness, whatever, friendship, whatever describes your marriage. And that gets to be my truth. That gets to be my truth. So here's what I know to be true. When we are looking for reasons as to why something does not work in our favor, as to why the other shoe gets to drop, as to why things are going bad, we get evidence of why things are going bad, of why it's not working out in your favor, of why the other shoe gets to drop on the other side. If we look for evidence as to why things are working in our favor, as to why we get to wear bow shoes on our feet, sister, as to why it just gets to be this good, guess what we're going to get? We are going to get bow shoes on our feet. We are going to get proof as to why it gets to be good. We are also going to get that evidence of, it just gets to be this good, right? The quantum field tells us, like the energy with the quantum field, the energy that you put out is what you're going to receive back. So if you're putting out the energy, I don't want you to freak out about this, so just receive the information and I'll tell you the flip side. So we put out the energy of, I don't want this, I don't want this, like this sucks, this is bad, this part of my life sucks. We're going to get more of that negative feedback into our lives. It's just responding to us. That's it. It's just responding to our energy. It's matching our energy. On the flip side, if we choose to see the good, to look at the possibilities of the good that are going on in our life, to feel the gratitude and that appreciation of things are actually really good. I actually am like so happy in my marriage. My kids are healthy. I have a roof over my head. Every time I do my appreciation, y'all have to know that I include my Jeep. I'm manifested the shit out of that girl. So I include my Jeep, I include my dogs, I include my extended family, I include my friends, I include social media, I include so much because it's so near to my heart, and I look for evidence as to why it gets to be good, and it feels good, right? And so we're bringing more of that positive experience. Now, I'm not saying that every day is going to be like sunshine and rainbows and happiness and puppies and like the whole 9 yards. It's life, right? Sometimes things just happen. Not everything is in our control, right? However, what can we control? We can control how we respond. We can control the energy of which we are putting out. And if we notice that we are not putting out the energy of which is bringing us that good feeling, that is bringing us the energy of which we desire, what can we do? We can be the gentle observer, and we can shift. We can shift at any moment. Any moment. I was listening to Abraham Hicks this morning on YouTube after my meditation. I'm using Freak Rituals. I have their, that's the manifesting mist, but I'm also using the drops, the meditation drops, and then they have really great bath salts too. So I did a little bit more drops for my meditation than I normally do, and I was like so chill, so connected to like my meditation and everything. I was like, I'm still just gonna lay on the floor and just gonna listen to some Abraham Hicks and manifest some more cool stuff. And so I did that, and I laid down, and Abraham Hicks, like, one thing stood out to me again. It's not the first time they've said this, but it was, when you're sleeping, everything resets. Like, all momentum stops from your day. And I was like, I don't know why that just stood out to me right in that moment, but it, like, that was like the biggest thing I took out. And I was like, yeah, actually it does. I know this, but like I needed to hear it again. And so yeah, all momentum stops that night. So you're not screwed if you're noticing that you're having the negative thinking. So the next thing, going back to the waiting for the other shoe to drop, or continuing on to that, is now that we know, we've stated it actually gets to be this good, how does it feel to you knowing that it gets to be this good? How does that feel? What word or feeling resonates with you with that statement of it gets to be this good? So when you know that feeling, you can shift into it. So you can shift into it. And so this goes back to you. Like, I know how I shift my energy, but you've got to feel into a way of what feels good for you to shift your energy. So it can be, limitless. Yeah. So the feeling of limitless, it gets to be this good. So I feel the feelings of limitless already in my body. Is there something in my body that says that I cannot feel that right now? And let's shift that energy. So what does that look like for you? I did a reel the other day of me dancing around, like jumping around, just moving out energy in my backyard, wrapped in a blanket. I just don't care what people think. So I just did it. I jumped around and I moved energy out after I meditated, after I did a little bit of like breath work and journaling and whatever, and Reiki. And I just moved that energy out. I just chose to get rid of the energy that was in my body. You can listen to music. You can go for a drive. You can do a workout, dance. Movement moves energy. And so when we're feeling funky, when we're feeling something other than the feeling that we desire, we've got to move that energy out. Breath work is really great. Highly recommend following Stevie Wright here on Instagram. She's a breathwork facilitator and a self-love coach. And she has a breathwork channel I'm not in, but I see her advertising, but some of her IGTVs are really great. So check those out. You could do like EFT tapping. What else? You could take a shower. I love to take showers, or a bath. But I really love the idea of movement moves energy. But whatever feels most aligned for you, go back here. What do I need? how do I need to shift this energy right now? And then shift it. And this doesn't have to be like a huge long process. I know it's like I'm explaining it to you, so I know it's taking a little bit longer, but literally like I jumped around for like 2 or 3 minutes. It wasn't a big deal and I felt so much better. That was after like a 10-minute meditation. So like that whole segment took me like less than 20 minutes. I am so worthy of that 20 minutes to feel better. Okay. And then the thoughts. If we're not feeling like you're feeling limitless, if you're not thinking that you're feeling limitless, or if you are thinking something other than, it gets to be this good, I am limitless, shifting the thought. So we're shifting the thought back to actually it gets to be this good. So we're noticing I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Switch the thought, shift the thought. It actually gets to be this good. I am actually limitless. I am a limitless being living in a limitless universe, and I get to have what I desire. And also another really great way to shift those thoughts and those feelings is through appreciation. And like I talked about just a little bit ago, feeling the feelings of gratitude and appreciation, whatever word resonates with you the most, and think about the things that you are grateful for and feel the feelings of it as well. And that is going to expand and it's going to shift your energy. Just looking at my notes, I think that was all. So if you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, it's just a conscious awareness, that shift in your own personal awareness. It gets to be this good, and continuing to shift how you are thinking about it in your brain, how you are feeling about it in your body, and giving yourself the permission to work on this and the permission to be gentle with yourself through this process. It's not a light switch, but with consistency, with that consistent effort and your awareness, it will get easier and you will step in that knowingness. Just be patient with yourself. If you think about how long it took you to get to where you are and that knowingness of it actually doesn't get to be this good, it's not going to take you that long to believe and feel and know, like stand in a knowingness that it does get to be this good. But like give yourself some love and some grace. It's like when I was really in like health coaching, when I was doing health coaching, like new mamas, they were just like wanting to get back to their pre-baby body. And I'm like, girlfriend, you just grew a baby for 9 months. You just birthed a human out of your body. Like, can we just honor how badass you are right now and be okay with where you are, loving yourself where you are, and being patient with the process of losing the weight that you desire and getting to a weight that feels good for you, or a size that feels good for you. And, you know, same concept, just in an emotional stance of being aware. Awareness is always the first step. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to DM me. I love to help. And if you're someone that struggles with anxiety, make sure you see my last reel. If you don't have my free anxiety release guide, check that out. Just go to my page and check out reels. And I have a free anxiety release guide. So if you just drop a heart on that, I will shoot you a DM with it, with a free PDF to help you with your anxiety. And also my spiritual life coaching program, my one-on-one coaching program, starts on April 5th. I have 2 spots available currently. And this is for you if you are someone that is struggling with any of these topics that we talked about, this triggers, you know, these fears, these limiting beliefs, the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm just are creeping in. and you're just not sure where to shift, where to change, and you're just ready to feel better. I know one of my clients was like, girlfriend, I have been working on this for over a year, for several years now, and I've just hit a plateau, and I've been watching you for a while, and I'm just ready. I just have this feeling that this is what I need. And today when we got on our call, like, after we got off, it was everything to not burst out into tears, because it's like we're not even quite 2 months in together, and like her confidence, it's like not even talking to the same person. It's like her confidence is through the roof. She's setting firm yet loving boundaries. She is finding her voice and loving herself, and it is so amazing to see that, even though like some of my homework sounds really weird and crazy, and sometimes they're like, okay, I'll do that thing, and sometimes it doesn't feel like big shifts at all in the homework. They are stepping stones, and she's doing it. All three of them are doing it, and it's really, really powerful and really, really beautiful. And so if you're ready, if you're feeling like, yeah, I need this, just shoot me a message, shoot me a DM, or you can check out the information, link is in my bio, and no pressure. Like, what I'll do is we will just talk. I'll ask you some questions. I'll make sure it's a good fit for you. So really just see what's coming up for you and make sure that it is something that I feel like I can help you with. And if it's not, I will tell you, and I will like guide you to the right person that I feel like could. And if you're like, yes, but now it's not the right time, no worries. Like, I fully trust in the timing for you. So again, link is in the bio. You can go to my website too, antirises.com, click on services, and then spiritual life coaching. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. I'm here for you. I'm holding space for you. I will talk to you very soon. Have a great night. Bye.